Welcome to the 2024 Ninja 7 Hybrid Oil Change video. Kawasaki only made this for the 2024 year, probably because they're experimenting and trying to see if it works out or not. I really like the bike. I just recently did the oil change. I didn't see any videos doing the oil change, so I figured I'd make one now. Spoiler alert, you do have to go to the dealer to reconfigure the clutch, but it's not that bad, and you can do the rest by yourself. So let's get started. All right, first you need some oil, 10W40, 2.3 liters of it, and then you need two oil filters. There's an internal filter and an external filter. The external one is really torqued on tight, and you have to torque it on more than hand tight. So this may be your first one. If you don't have a torque wrench or if you don't have a way to leverage a lot, you might not be able to get this filter off or back on. You need an 8mm socket for the smaller filter. That's going to be the cover for that smaller filter. And you need a 17mm socket. That's going to be for the drain plug. And to beware, the drain plug does come with a disposable aluminum washer. So you're supposed to replace it. I did not replace it. It seems okay. But the instructions say to replace that crush washer, the aluminum crush washer. Also need the torque wrench. That is very important because all of these have torque specifications, including the oil filter, which again cannot be hand tightened. All right, if you've never looked under your Ninja 7 Hybrid before, now is your chance. You can see the kickstand here. So for a point of reference, directly underneath the bolt right here is going to be the drain bolt. That's going to be the first one we're going to do to drain the oil out. And then directly next to that, underneath, you're going to see, and I'll get a better photo later, but that is the cover for the internal oil filter. So for this spot right here, I did not need to jack up the bike. I was able to get to all this because I got a pretty low oil pan. But you may need to jack it up a little bit. It'll probably be easier, but I was able to do all this just with the bike sitting on the kickstands. All right, on that drain bolt, we're going to take that 17mm and undo the drain bolt, unscrew it, and you can see here, through no planning of my own, the crush washer shows up beautifully on the lip of the oil pan, and that is what you need to replace. So says Kawasaki. I did not replace that. It seems fine. It wasn't damaged or anything, but it is a crush washer, so technically you should be replacing it. So this may be what has you take it to the dealer instead of do it yourself. I had to get the longest torque wrench I could get for the external filter. For whatever reason, this is torqued on crazy tight, and you cannot hand tighten it or obviously hand loosen it. So I did get it off. I did verify the gasket was off. So if you do have a torque wrench long like this and a filter removal tool like this, as long as you can get it off, just make sure the filter's off. And it seemed fine. I was able to torque it back down as well. But make sure that you're able to take the external filter off because this is by far was the hardest part of the whole oil change. Now for the internal filter, this one just has a cover over it. You want to take these two bolts. They are the 8mm sockets. Take this off and the cover will not come off immediately. It actually has some suction and an O-ring on there. You might have to, and I had to get a flathead to pry this cover off. But once it's off, it slips off pretty easy and you got access to the filter then. So now that you got the cap off, you got to get this filter out, and it's pretty well seated, the O-ring at the top of this filter. I don't know if it was a placebo for me, if I just believed it was happening, but I took off the oil fill cap and felt like it relieved some pressure. I still had to fiddle around with a screwdriver to get this thing out, but it does eventually pop out. The O-ring at the top is what's holding it, so you can even put your finger in there and move it around just to loosen it up. And the internal filter is kind of hard to get to, but I will show you. It looks like mine had seen some things and it was pretty dirty. So I would definitely recommend if you don't do just the external filter, definitely hit this internal one too, because this was not a clean filter. All right, time to put the external filter back on. First, I always fill my filters up a little bit with oil so I don't have any oil starvation on startup. And then most importantly, put a little bit of oil around the ring of that gasket just so it's not dry when it goes back against the filter connector. This is going to be an 18 foot-pound, which again is not hand tight. That's much tighter. So this is where your torque wrench comes in. So put that back on the front of the bike, the 18 foot-pound, tighten it down, and we'll move on to the internal one. All right, time for the internal filter. I've laid it out here. You can see the very first thing you want to do, that filter cover, for whatever reason, was nasty on this side. So check and clean the filter cover. It just seems to collect like a magnet dirt from the road. And it's underneath, so it explains. It's just dirt flying at all time. So clean that up as best you can. I went through, make sure the O-ring doesn't have any dirt in it because that O-ring's a seal. And then you put the spring on the top. And the nice thing about this is it actually on the top of the filter says this side toward engine, and that's that O-ring you can see, the little plug there that was keeping the filter in stuck. So you put the filter on top of the spring and then the spring on top of the cover and then the screws back into the screw holes, and then we put that whole friggin' thing back up inside that internal filter and tighten the bolts. I got to be careful with these bolts because they are aluminum bolts and it seems like an aluminum head, so you do not want to over tighten these things. This is the torque spec that you got to do for the filtered cover bolts. Do not exceed those. I even actually went a little bit less because I was just scared I was going to strip the bolts. And then for the drain bolt, it's 22 foot-pounds. Again, you should replace the crush washer. I did not. I'll see if I regret that later. So on the left side of your bike here is the fill. Just finger tight, undo that fill cap, put in the funnel, and then I put the first 2 liters of oil in without even checking anything. And then the last one I put about 1/4 of a liter in. All right, now the oil is in, 2.3 liters. Start it up. Shut it down. Now we check the oil level. All right, oil's in, level's good, everything looks good. We have one final thing to do, and that is the oil reminder check. You don't want to forget this because it'll pop up and give you a little wrench when you need to change it. So first we hold down SEL, we go into vehicle settings, we go to service, click on the oil change, it's off. Now I'm going to turn it off and back on. When you turn it off and on, it does reset it. And what you'll see is when I flip it back to on, it gives you a default of 7,500 miles and then in a year. So today's March 10th, 2027, or 7,500 miles that will come up and remind me to change it again. So here's the page from the user manual that says, do not change your own oil, bring it into Kawasaki. And the reason you need to do that is there's a calibration in the clutch system that uses that oil viscosity. And when you change it, that changes the viscosity. It's got to relearn it. I don't know why they couldn't just have this procedure be user done, but you do have to go to Kawasaki. They will hook it up to KVCS, which is like a computer system for the motorcycle. They will run the procedure to relearn the viscosity, and then you're good to go. I drove it to my dealership. They did it for free as an easy procedure. They just plug it in and then start it up, and then relearn happens. It's pretty straightforward. And you can drive it. It's just, it may shift rough. It may have other problems. It's just better to recalibrate it. So I won't say it's required. You can cheat just like I did with my crush washer. But I definitely, if you want the best operation for your bike, you should go to the dealer and say, hey, I need the electronic controlled hydraulic clutch system parameter reset. And when you tell them that, they'll probably stare at you like you're crazy. But you can ask them to look. It's section 618 in the service manual for the clutch. They should be able to find it.